Mr. Mabasa grew up in a family where they worshipped gods. Maybe you can just give a brief description of what was done in your family when you grew up. Listen to this.
Yeah, rina ke hashu robe bo mudini muhulwane.
We come from a big family,
Mudi une ra rela zwidzimu zwisile.
a family that used to worship false gods.
Zore zwi tshi thoma bo makhulukuku wanga bo tuwa ba renga zwinwanakadzi Maputo.
It started off with my great grandparents going to Maputo and buying Chingwanakazi.
Chingwanakadzi cha hone ndi Mundawu.
It's a Mundawu Chingwanakazi.
Zwezwi ri kho ḓi hula ro ḓivha zwa ri hayani ri rela ezwo zwithu zwa mudzimu a ri zwi ḓivhi.
We grew up not knowing God, but what we knew was worshiping those false gods.
Hezwi ndi khori zwa mudzimu a ri zwi ḓivhi, mudzimu ane ra mu rela unity a ri sa muḓivhi.
We did not know of God. We came to know of God here at Unity.
Zore ezwi zwi khou itea zwezwo vho renga Mundawu. Hoyo Mundawu uva na mufumakadzi ane ava ṅwana muṱuku ane a sathu vhona maḓuvha.
That spirit of Mundawu would have to have a wife, a small child who has not seen their periods.
Hapa vana vo nangiwa zwi khou ya nga mirafho nga murafho.
Those children are chosen kids. At
A
every
swikela na
generation.
nne ṅwananga na ene a nangiwa ova ene wo fhedzisela uri ave mufumakadzi wawo Mundawu.
My daughter was also chosen to be a wife to the Mundawu, and that was the last one to be chosen.
How many wives did your father have? When you say that we were a big family.
Ya khotsi yanga vana vafumakadzi vatano.
My father had 5 wives.
Mi yanga ndi number 3 ndi vone
My
va
mother was
Muvenda va
the
vote.
third one, and she.
And Vana, how many children?
Vana ro va ri 26 zwino ro sala ri 18.
It's 26. He had 26 children, but only 18 remain still alive.
Zore zwi tshi khou ralo zwi tshi khou thoma ṅwananga uri a vhe nyankwavi mufumakadzi wa hoyo Mundawu.
When my child had to.
Okay, let me take you back. You said that you were worshipping cows. It was not cows only.
Yes.
I believe that you were also worshipping chickens.
Yes.
All right. The cows, how many would they be?
2 cows.
2 cows. Zobadziana.
How were the cows?
Ho vona kholomo ntshu yo no pfi Chirilele isina na mavala.
There was a black
Ndi
cow.
wone
didn't
ndi
have
wone
marks.
mudzimu wo thoma.
That is the first god.
Shirelele,
Shirelele.
the black cow.
Ya isina na lepala na the T.
It didn't even have a mark. It was just black.
No spots at
No
all.
spots.
Just black. Okay.
Ava na inwe no pfi Mbaushi ine ya va na mavala machena na matswu.
And there was another one called Baushi that had black and white marks.
Zwino hezwi tshi khou phaseliwa hafhaḽani khotsi yanga ndi vhone vha tshi yo fara dzithambo.
When
Na-
doing the rituals, my father was the one that led.
Na hoyo ṅwana wa Nyankwavi ane vha mufumakadzi wa Mundawu na ene u khou tou vha hone ndi ene ane a vho dzula phanḓa hanefhaḽa.
Even the Wankabi, the wife of the Mundawu, would have to be there sitting in front.
Hu vha khou sheliwa tshinefu fhasi ri khou vhidza vhathu vho lovhaho vha kale nga madzina.
As they did the rituals, they would be pouring the snuff and calling upon the dead.
Ri tshi khou humbela protection zwoṱhe zwithu zwoṱhe zwine ra vha ri khou ṱoḓa hanefhaḽa.
Asking for protection and everything that we wanted.
But despite those blessings that you asked for during those rituals, members of your family kept on dying.
Ya zwezwo ra ro no ita hono mushumo hu ya vha na muthu muthihi ane a nga ri sia.
After doing that ritual, someone would die.
Na malwadze a hone ri sa khou kona u vhona zwa ri zwi khou khosiwa nga mini.
And even sicknesses, people would get sick, but we wouldn't know what was
Baba
causing those
chinova nga mini nga
sicknesses.
maanḓa vhathu.
Ro ri nga zwino nga Augusta ri hayani ra ro dzula sa vhana ri khou vhudzisana uri ndi tshini tshe tsha ita uri a vhathu vha vhuye vha tevhele hezwiḽa zwithu.
In August, we were
Vha tshi khou
seated
remedza zwine
as
na vhonala.
siblings and we were asking ourselves,
Zwino,
what is it that those
a pfi havhaḽa vhathu vha
people
tshi khou ṱoḓa
did?
lupfumo.
Why did they get to
Lupfumo lune rine vhaṅwe a ri lu vhoni.
said they were
Ulibona
looking
ngabo.
for riches that we did not even
Nga zwezwi zwa
see.
vhusiku.
But members of the family kept on dying. And if you come from a family that worships, ancestors that worships idols, you know it. Those who have got those Mandao as your gods, those who have got Zingwanakazes in your homes, those who grew up with those Ndumbas there, you know that after a ritual, somebody dies. You can see that those spirits do not bring anything good, but they take from you. You have to be sacrificing your own. They do not become happy because you are slaughtering cows and goats and chickens for them. They also demand human sacrifices. That is very, very bad. And that is what was happening in your family.
ya musi arali ro to pfuka ṅwari sa vhaphaseli hezwa zwithu zwi kwata nga maanḓa.
If a year passes
Lune hu nga
without
ṱuwa vhathu
us
vhavhili
doing
nga
a
ṅwaha,
ritual,
nga kha ṅwaha
those
muthihi.
spirits would be very angry. Then it means that two people in our family would die.
Okay, I understand that your father got sick, and when he was sick, that is when he started training you.
Yeah.
Did your daughter become Nyankwabi during the time of your father while he was still alive doing the rituals, or when you were doing the rituals?
Oba Nyankwabi nga 2006.
She became a Nyankwa in
2006.
Yeah,
2006
khotsi anga vha tshi kha ḓi tshila.
when my father was still alive.
He was not yet sick at that time.
Vha tshi khou vhaisala nga
He
tshetsho.
was
Vha tshi khou
sick
vhaisala.
at that time.
All right.
Ngauri ndi tshi khou vhuya hanefho kha ḽeḽo.
Because going back to
Hezwi
that,
zwithu o vho tea u vha Nyankwabi u bva ku tshe kuṱuku.
she was supposed to be a
From Fumakadzi
Nyankwa
wa
while
Tshwane.
she was still very young, but my wife was refusing.
Zwezwo i khou hana, ho vha tshi itea zwiṅwe zwithu zwi songo ḓoweleaho hafhaḽa hayani.
And strange things
Ndi
would happen
humbula
as she refused.
2005.
I remember in
Ono vhuya
2005,
sheliwa tshefu kha zwiḽiwa muḓini wanga.
there was
Mufumakadzi
muti
o zwi wana a tshi
poison.
khou bika vhuswa ha madekwana.
My wife saw
Yes,
that
ono
there was
ḓivha na
poison
zwa
that was
vhulimi,
poured
hezwo
there
zwithu.
while she was cooking at night.
Ngauri
So you didn't know who did it?
a ri zwi ḓivhi zwa uri ndi
No.
nnyi.
We
All right.
didn't know who
And,
did it.
For the daughter to become the Nyankwabi, Nyankwabi is this young girl whom they choose before she starts menstruating to serve in the Ndumba, that ancestral hut or the idol's hut. And she's like the priestess there. Your daughter disappeared here
Yeah.
in Johannesburg.
Ya mbo ḓi sokou
How old was she when she disappeared?
3 years.
She was 3 years old. And where were you staying?
Nda i khou dzula hafha Tshiawelo tsini na
We were staying
tsini
here
na
in Chiawelo,
Puta Lushaka.
next to Putalshaka School.
You looked for her, you couldn't find her.
A ri ngo mu wana.
We
And
couldn't
where
find
did you
her.
find her?
Ro mu wana Eldorado Park.
We found
No,
her
no,
in
o waniwa nga
Eldorado
mapholisa
Park.
vha ḓa naye Moroka Police
The
Station.
police are the ones that found her in Eldorado Park and brought her to Moroka Police Station.
A 3-year-old. 3-year-old.
O xela u bva nga 10 ro sala ri khou
She
mu
got
wana nga
lost
9 ya
at
vhusiku.
around 10. We
I wanna
found
match
her
her.
Nga 9 ya vhusiku.
at 9 p.m.
From 10 in the morning. And when they went around to ask, because they consulted, they were told that it was because of that role of Nyankwabi that she has to be Nyankwabi. She had to be Nyankwabi.
Yes.
And you were happy about that.
A ḓa na ndo ḓi takalela nga
And
ri.
your wife could not oppose anymore.
A vha si tshena choice
She
hafha.
could not oppose anymore. She didn't have a choice.
Okay, let's go to your father. When your father was sick, then he started training you to perform the rituals. And you were very good at that,
Nga maanḓa.
performing those rituals. But it came with at a cost, at a price. Because I see that when you started doing that, that is when you started having a spiritual wife.
Yes. And hezwa spiritual wife zwo nthoma nda ndi mushumoni.
It
You were
started
night
when
shift.
I was at work. I was working night shift.
Zwezwo ndo dzula hanefhaḽa mushumoni.
As I was seated at night,
O sokou vhona u khou bvelela musidzana wavhuḓi badi.
I just saw a beautiful woman.
Sitting at work.
Ya.
Okay.
Nda shuma ndi ndoṱhe vhusiku.
I used to work alone there.
Hezwi ndi khou shuma hanefhaḽa. Nda ndo vho tou mangala ndo no nukala thi ḓivhi zwa uri hani.
As I was working there, I just realized that I was
Right
late
there at
and I
work.
didn't know what was happening.
And you were not even asleep at that time.
Hai hafha wa sa eḓeli u nga ri ro vha tshi paṱrola nga
Couldn't
wana
sleep
muṅwe na
because I had to patrol the whole night.
And you saw this beautiful lady coming in.
iṅwe. Yes.
You see, the worship of these other gods, the worship of ancestors, comes with that kind of suffering, where you become a wife or a husband to spirit beings. Comes with those covenants where you are given over. You get into a spiritual marriage. You get into a spiritual marriage. And children from such families, from such backgrounds of ancestral worship, idol worship, they experience such things. They experience those spiritual marriages, spiritual pregnancies in women, and also breastfeeding spiritual children. And also, if you like consulting sangomas and inyangas and false prophets, you will end up with those tokoloshes coming to sleep with you. It can be animal spirits, it can be dogs, it can be whatever. And some people are suffering sicknesses, a lot of things that are coming from having those night relationships or having those spiritual relationships, because I cannot say night, because for some people it would happen even during the day when they are in a taxi, when they are in a classroom. Some children are failing their exams because during exam time those spirits come, sleep with them while they seated there in the classroom, and they cannot even remember what they studied. So these spirits are not there to help anybody. They are there to destroy. Human beings are not supposed to have sexual contact with spirits. It's not supposed to be like that. Is somebody hearing that? In some families, they think that is normal because everybody is experiencing that. And if your parents or your grandparents go and buy things like what he's talking about, that the grandparent went to Maputo and brought this mundao, the children and the grandchildren, they become victims to such marriages. The transactions involve giving your own family, everybody who's going to be born there, to these spirits, and they treat them as their wives, as their husbands. And some people go to these places and they buy such gods in order for them to become rich, or in order for them to become powerful witches or powerful people. So people will become very powerful whereas they don't have God. Most of them, they want to rely on these powers from such gods, from such idols, but they live suffering for their families. They leave their families suffering very much. The family members pay the price of belonging to such a family, and these things are carried on from one generation to another.